Alright, you guys, today's lesson is on section 11.4, as it says up here. Apply the Pythagorean theorem and its converse. There should be 2 slides that go with my lesson today, so make sure you've got those. Either they're in your packet and you have them already, or on Schoology in our folder here. You should be able to print the note sheets off, or again, do this. Maybe you can find a way to do it in Notability while you watch the video somehow and go back and forth. But this is the note sheet you need to have, or just a blank piece of paper to write down things that I'm going through right now. Maybe you've heard of this theorem before. It's kind of a special theorem in terms of what it can do. It only works with a certain type of shape, and that shape is right triangle. So like I've got pictured down here, any right triangle, again, has one right angle, and it's this one that looks like the corner of a piece of paper here. You could always put a piece of paper to check that it's a right triangle. But this is a 90-degree angle right here, and so this is a right triangle. As opposed to, again, other types of triangles, there's obtuse triangles where one angle is bigger than 90 degrees, or there's acute triangles where all the angles are less than 90 degrees, we could say. But we are just working with today right triangles. There's a theorem that works for this. We need a little vocab to move forward, so some of the words that you hear us saying, when it comes to the right triangle, and the formula we're going to use, there's something called the hypotenuse. So write this down if you don't already have it in there. The hypotenuse is always the longest side of the right triangle, or it's the side that's across from the right angle. So in this case, it's always going to be labeled with C when we talk about A, B, and C for the sides. And it's almost like the right angle. See how it likes a little arrow? It points towards the side that's opposite. So C is always the hypotenuse, like it says here. When we say hypotenuse, we're talking about the longest side, or C. And then the other 2 sides, doesn't matter the order of them typically, as we're going to find out, but they're just called the legs. And that's A and B. So here are the legs. It's the 2 sides that form the right angle. So if you're trying to figure out where those are, well, here's the right angle, like we said, and A and B are the ones right next to it. When we're working with this formula, I'm going to show you how to do it on the next page. But all it comes down to is, on the bottom here, if you take a look, when we know we have a right triangle, so if you're dealing with a right triangle for a shape, whether it's a word problem or just any kind of problem in general, there's a little formula that always works. And it's a nice, easy one, too. At least in terms of, there isn't a lot going on. It's just the 3 sides we know, A, B, and C. It says that A squared, right here, plus B squared equals C squared. So just writing it again up here. If I know the lengths of some of these sides, even 2 of them, I can get to the 3rd one by using this formula right here. Let me show you how it works on the next page with a few examples. So here's what some of your homework problems will look like today. We'll be using this formula right here. When it comes to work, that's what I'll expect you to be doing, is showing the numbers you're plugging in there and then using some work to find the answer, whatever it may be. And you can definitely use a calculator for these, because some of your answers will be like irrational numbers or numbers that come out to be a decimal, okay? Take a look at this first one right here. So it says solve for the missing side. That's what we're trying to do, is find the missing side. It looks like it's A in this case. We can tell this is a right triangle. Usually they'll label that for us, but there's the right angle. And so A is the side we're missing. And so we know the other 2 sides, which is 24 and 25. Well, we should be able to figure out which side is the C, the hypotenuse. Remember, here's the right angle, and the right angle always points to the hypotenuse, so that's C. So when I'm plugging things into the formula, that one has to go in here. Otherwise, it will not work. So make sure you identify which side is the biggest and which one is the hypotenuse. Sometimes we're finding that. In this case, we know it, and we'll have to put that in for C. So writing out my formula, here's what it might start to look like. A squared, that's the one I'm trying to find, plus 24 squared, which is the other leg that I know, that's my B, equals 25 squared, which is C, okay? Now, some of these you're going to know offhand. Otherwise, if you haven't already on your iPad, you should download this app. It should be in the self-service. This is Desmo's as well, but this is Desmo's Scientific Calculator, as it says right here, Desmo's Scientific. Here's what it looks like, and this is a great calculator. I think you guys will find it pretty handy as well. I use this all the time myself on my own iPad. So if I'm trying to use this and plug in, I got to find 24 squared. I can do 24, and then here's the squared button right here. Oh, there it is, 576. So let me go. I'm just going to make a note of that number, 576. I'll write it up above in a second. Then let's see, going back to this, going back to my calculator. It's a little funny here doing it on the iPad, but it'll work, at least for me, trying to make a video for you. Now here's 25 squared. That's 625. So I got 576 and 625. Let me take those numbers back up here. So A squared plus 576 equals 625. 625, okay? Now, remember that it's just like solving for an equation like we've done already this year. Here's A. Here's the one I'm trying to find. This is an equation, so I've got to get A by itself, and then I'll have to do one other thing, too, because it's A squared. So I'm going to draw my line, and it says plus 576, so this starts to look familiar. Oh, I'm going to subtract 576 from both sides, because over here these cancel out. Now I've got A squared by itself. Over here, 625 minus 576 gives me, I'll have to do a little math here, 5, carry the 1, carry 1 here, I think I get 49. Now, 49 isn't our answer, because remember, 25 was the longest side in the triangle, right? So this has to be something shorter than that. And if you take a look, the way we find it is, it says that A squared, a number times itself, gives me 49. So what would I have to do to figure out what that number is? Well, it's kind of like taking the square root of it, right? That's going backwards from squaring something. So square root of 49, or what number times itself gives me 49? It's 7. So A equals 7 in this one. On the Schoology answers, you do have to write it like this. A equals 7. So make sure you put the variable in there and the answer. You put it in like an equation from any of the problems. It'll tell you otherwise if it doesn't want that, but a lot of them will say put it in like this. Okay, now I'm going to go on to one of the other examples. I've erased some of the other work off the board here just to give myself some more room, but let me go through another one with you now. I'm going to look at this next example here. Here's another right triangle. And now in this one, notice, sometimes it'll be nice and tell us this, like we need C in this particular equation, but not always. You should still be able to identify like, oh, that's the side opposite the right angle, so C is the one I need to find. So in our formula, A squared plus B squared equals C squared, 30 and 40 are going to be the A and the B, and then we're going to be trying to find C. So let's start writing it out. In terms of work on your paper, here's what I would expect you to be writing. Things like this. I would look for this work for you to turn in. 30 squared plus 40 squared equals C squared. I'll take a look at this one. Again, we can use our calculator if we need some help. I can punch in 30 squared and 40 squared, but these I happen to know offhand, so I'm just going to keep on moving here. 30 squared actually is 900. Again, you can use your calculator to find that out. I'm okay with that, but that's one I bet you could figure out. 3 times 3 is 9, and then a couple zeros at the end. 900 for this one. 40 squared is 1600, and that all equals C squared. So what am I going to do in this one, you guys? And at any point, you can always pause these videos and kind of keep working them out yourself and see if you get the answer I get. But take a look. This one tells us these are on the same side, so I'm just going to add those both together. 900 plus 1600, which gives me 2500 equals C squared, okay? And now, like we said, this is C squared. Some number times itself gives me 2050. So I need to know the square root of that number. So here I'll use the calculator this time so we can just see it done. Go into my calculator. I'm going to make a new line here. I'm going to hit the square root of 2,500. And this gives me right on the nose, it is 50. So in this case, C equals 50 for this problem. All right, one more example before I let you try it yourself. Here's another right triangle. There's our right angle right there. If I'm using our formula, A squared plus B squared equals C squared, I can see that in this case, this is the hypotenuse here, this longest side, so that's 7. So I know that C is 7. And then it says 6. Here's another one I have for a side. So B is the one I'm trying to find out. Again, sometimes they might even put X here. So again, you can't always rely on them giving you A, B, and C, those nice variables. You should be able to tell, at least for sure, though, which one's the longest side, the hypotenuse. And then A and B are kind of interchangeable. So in this case, though, I'm going to put 6 in for A. B is what I'm trying to find out. So B squared equals 7 squared. 6 squared gives me 36. I know that one offhand. B squared is B squared. 7 squared is 49. And now what do I got to do in this one? I got to draw my line. I'm trying to solve and get B squared by itself. Here's my variable. So I got to subtract 36. Hopefully that feels familiar from things we've done in the past in class here. I get B squared equals 13. Now in this problem you notice that 13 isn't a perfect square, right? So I still need to square root it to find out what B equals. But in this case it's not going to be necessarily a nice number, so that's definitely where the calculator is going to come in handy here. So I'm going to go down to my calculator again, and I need the square root of 13. A lot of problems will ask you to round off to the nearest tenth or hundred. You just have to look at what that particular problem wants, or what it wants in the Schoology or in the IXL, whatever it may be. This one I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. It says 3.6, I think, will be a nice thing to round to. So 3.6 for the answer there. Try them out. Try out the problems today in the assignment that uses this theorem, the Pythagorean theorem. If you have any questions, email me or Zoom me.